Hey, it's me, JV, and welcome to this week's Sub Saturdays, ladies and gentlemen. Got some rapid fire updates for you. First of all, the Dark Souls Let's Play is coming to a close. We're actually pretty close. All that's left at this point in time, I know the videos have to keep rolling out, but all that's left is the DLC and beating the final area and the final boss. Now we're going to do the DLC first, and then the final area and the final boss. Everything else is done, and except for like maybe one or two things that I have to see if I can even do, like Covenant stuff. So there's going to be a live streamed episode this Friday. You got your normal episode Monday, Wednesday, and then a live streamed episode Friday where we cleaned up pretty much everything that's left to clean up. Covenant stuff, an optional boss, some interesting stuff, so you definitely want to check it out. But we're getting close. This playthrough has really not lasted all that long, which feels good. It feels good. It feels good to 100% a game, you know, in like 50 or so episodes, unlike the Elder Scrolls stuff, which takes 200. There's no way to avoid burnout. So this experience has been wonderful. The fact that people have been watching is amazing and giving it a chance. I'm so happy with how this Dark Souls playthrough has turned out so far. And all we have left is really the DLC. So stay tuned for that. In addition, I'm gonna have to start reapplying this hair. You can see it's kind of getting green on the top, but it still looks good. I mean, it's lasted a long time. I dig it, and I'm gonna, like I said, I'm gonna stick with it, so we'll just see how it goes. In addition, as far as weight loss goes, I just recently had my second 10-pound loss cheat day. I wrote in at the start, January 1st, like every 10 pounds that I lose, I can have a cheat day where I eat whatever I want. So total weight lost before that cheat day, because I obviously gained like a bunch of weight then, but now, you know, I'm losing it again. It was 23 pounds and 23.8 pounds. So the weight loss is still going strong. And yeah, right before, like the day before the cheat day, I weighed myself and I had lost 23.8 pounds. So for anybody still curious about that, there you go. Let's see, in addition, currently doing a Sekiro blind / 100% playthrough over on Twitch. This is the hardest game that I have played in a long time. If you're not watching the playthrough and you can, just trust me, you're missing out, because it's I've never been filled with so much salt and rage, but also triumph upon beating like a boss that I've tried, you know, for 3 hours straight. It's a crazy playthrough, man, and it's a beautiful game. We're going to talk about it more in a second here. And I guess that's about it. I feel like I had one more update that I wanted to talk about. Oh, Thief! Thief's going good too. There's some things about it that I do not like for sure, but there's things about it that I really do like, and I think the game doesn't get enough credit for. So I'm going to try to get it better at the things that I'm bad at in the game currently, and just keep the playthrough, you know, going strong, because it's, when you do a blind playthrough like this with a clunky sort of, I don't know, it's a clunky way of how the controls are, it's just a bit tricky. But thanks for watching that one as well if you're enjoying the Thief playthrough. Now I want to sort of give my opinions, my first impressions on both Borderlands 3 and Sekiro. We'll do Borderlands 3 first, because there's really not too much to say about it. If you missed it, they just uploaded the actual gameplay trailer, like 3.5 minutes. I don't think anybody was surprised, because they've been hinting at it pretty strongly, plus it's time for another Borderlands. Now everything looks really strong, and you know, they brought back all the NPCs pretty much, and all the player characters too, from Borderlands 1 and 2, which is awesome. The gameplay looks the same, and the graphics, my one issue with it is, my opinion is that the graphics or the visuals look exactly the same as Borderlands 2. Like, they didn't even change it at all, like not even an upgrade. I understand it's cell shaded, so it's not like, you know, it's not like the overhaul is going to be like too big or anything, but I'm just surprised to see that it almost seems 1-to-1 from what I remember of Borderlands 2. Well, we'll obviously have to look, you know, closer at it once more gameplay is released, once the actual game's released, but I was just surprised that it looks so similar. But that really won't matter if the humor is there, if the gameplay is there, which it does look like. I mean, everything they showed basically just looked like a new Borderlands 2 game. And if the game's good enough, which it probably will be, because Borderlands 2 was excellent, then it won't matter. That won't matter, because all people want is more Borderlands. They mentioned the gun thing, over 1 billion guns. That really doesn't mean anything to me, because that just means that they're randomly generated. I mean, there's cool effects, like the gun that was walking on the ground, like stuff like that's awesome. But 1 billion guns is just a way to say, like, there's a lot of randomly generated guns. I'm interested in kind of the unique ones that do really cool things, such as walking on the ground. I'm a huge Borderlands 2 fan. My girlfriend also is. So once this finally releases, definitely expect to see a co-op playthrough with both of us, or maybe even other stream friends, like a 4-person co-op, or just me and my girlfriend. We'll just have to see. But I'm definitely going to be playing it because, yeah, Borderlands 2, I believe I 100%ed and had all the DLC. Played the crap out of it, was a big fan. So excited to see it, but I just want to see kind of more gameplay, what the game's about, and yeah, I'll give more info once that happens. And now the big one, Sekiro. Let me put some chapstick onto this because my lips are chapped from getting my ass beat so bad. That doesn't make any sense, but I was trying to go for a joke. Everybody always shits on me for my dry lips. They don't realize I live in Colorado. It's like dry as hell here, and I grew up in Florida, so I think my lips are just used to humidity. Anyways, Sekiro is amazing. If you don't know, this is a game made by From Software and made by Miyazaki, the creator behind Dark Souls and Bloodborne. And Demon Souls, as far as I know. I'm pretty sure I don't know much about Demon Souls, but yeah, so if you're enjoying my Dark Souls playthrough, I mean, this is a game that's pretty much directly, majorly influenced by, you know, that game. So I've been mega looking forward to it for a very long time because I knew that it was going to be a similar experience. Boy, was I not ready for the combat, though. My God, this is the hardest game I've ever played in terms of a Soulsborne game. Bloodborne took me a bit of time to get used to because I was going from the very slow, methodical approach that I had during Dark Souls 1, 2, and 3, although 2 and 3 speed up. And then Bloodborne, you just have to be aggressive. There's no way around it. You can't block, you can't be defensive, you have to be aggressive. And so it was really hard for me to get used to it, but eventually I got really used to it and I got pretty good at it. And then I 100%ed Bloodborne and did literally everything in the game on the PlayStation 4. So this game is the same thing, but it's much harder. It's relearning a new Soulsborne game, and for anybody saying that it's not like Soulsborne, they're completely wrong. It's so influenced, it's not even funny. You have a literal, like, Estus flask, you know, you have literal bonfire. There's so much similarities, but my point is, learning this one has been the hardest, and I think this might be the hardest game that I've ever played, barring sort of games like Getting Over with VanaVitriolic, which are hard to be hard. This is sort of like just challenge incarnate. Let's rapid fire talk about some of the stuff. The graphics are pretty good. They're not as good as I was expecting, honestly. Like, honestly, I think I might even like Bloodborne's visuals better, which came out, what, 2014 or 15 or something like that. You know, some areas and vistas are really nice, with the cherry blossoms and the mountain smoke and everything like that, but some areas are very, I don't know, non-detailed and just kind of there. The game is beautiful in its own right, but I'm just saying it's nothing like groundbreaking like a lot of other games that are coming out, which, yeah, is a little bit of a disappointment because Dark Souls 3, for instance, to me looked amazing, looked beautiful. Bloodborne looked amazing, looked beautiful. This one, it's kind of a little more subdued in my opinion, but I need to see more of it before I really, you know, solidify my opinions on that. Story is very interesting to me. It involves a lot of Japanese mythos, which I'm not, you know, too knowledgeable on, but I really enjoy Japanese culture and Japanese stories and things like that. So even though there's parts of this story that are very cliche when it comes to Japanese storytelling, I really dig it, and I don't know what's going on yet. I'm kind of in the midst of the playthrough, but I'm really enjoying it, and I'm really curious. It's piqued my curiosity, and I really want to know more about what the heck's going on. There's a lot of weird things. I don't know if I trust certain NPCs, certain people, and, you know, I don't know. The story is just very odd. It's got a lot of weird stuff going on. So I'm interested to see the resolution and see what really the story's all about. I know people have finished this, they're already doing speedruns, but I'm taking my time with it, and I'm enjoying it. And the big one, gameplay. Holy crap. So the real tough thing about it is, like in Dark Souls and in Bloodborne, if you want to just go mega aggro, you can. If you want to upgrade your weapons and you know, get the best setup and stuff, you can go mega aggro and deal tons of damage and just, you know, basically slam enemies and bosses left and right. You just have to know what you're doing. You still have to practice, but if you can figure out a strategy. This game throws all that out the window because every enemy is like human and they're smart and they're going to be blocking all of your attacks, and if you just go aggro, they're gonna block, they're gonna break your posture, and then they're gonna mess you up with their unavoidable lunges, sweeps, and grabs, amongst a ton of other stuff too. A perfect example is that in Dark Souls, if you have somebody shooting at you ranged, usually you can run up and kill them in one hit and they're dead because they're ranged. They're really annoying, but if you can close the gap, the game rewards you. In this game, No, there's a dude with a cannon, he has a big cannon, you know, he's shooting you. If you close the gap, guess what? He slams you over the head with the cannon. You have to deflect it, or you have to block it, or you have to dodge it. This game is so difficult. So throws all that out of the window. It has this sort of posture system where you have to break others' posture, they can break your posture, and then you also have to counter a lot of stuff. If they sweep your legs, you have to double jump off of them and get some hits in. If they lunge, you have to deflect it or do the Makiri counter, and then, you know, get your hits in when you can. And if they grab you, you have to evade it, or maybe double jump. It just kind of depends. And it's so intricate, it's so difficult, and it's kicking my ass. It's so hard, y'all. So I'm invested more so than even Bloodborne, which I was really invested in, because it's just a game that I want to get good at, but it's so hard. It throws all the traditional Soulsborne stuff out the window, in my opinion. Keep some of it, but you know, the combat is just very tricky to get the hang of. Overall, I really dig it. I mean, it's exactly what you want from a Soulsborne game. There's lots of little mini bosses and bosses that all have their own things and abilities. There's tons of little prosthetic items that you can get that all do tons of different stuff. They kind of serve as the different weapons, because there's only one weapon in the game, which is your sword, as far as I know. So yeah, it's beautiful. It's so detailed. There's so much variance in the game. It's another Miyazaki masterpiece, seemingly. It's just incredibly difficult. It's the biggest challenge I think I've ever played in terms of video games, easily. I don't know about easily, but it's definitely, I think, the biggest challenge. One boss, which you can watch over on the GV Stream Archive channel, literally took me, I think, like 3.5 hours, 3 hours straight of trying before I was able to beat him. It was so difficult. I mean, 3 hours of streaming the same boss. And once I did it, the chat blew up, they popped off, and I popped off. It was nuts. So that's the feeling that I crave, is finally surmounting that boss. And the difference in this one, as opposed to Bloodborne and as opposed to Dark Souls, is in those games, you know, you basically can get hits in a lot of the time, but in this, it's like a dance. You have to watch, you have to literally memorize every move that he does, and there's like a million moves. And by the way, like multiple forms too, multiple, you know, phases of the boss. And you just have to memorize the whole thing like a choreographed dance and be able to like deflect, then attack, deflect, 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 attack, double jump, deflect, Makiri counter. It's nuts, man. It's really fun. I really dig it. If you want to watch the playthrough, we're still doing it live over on Twitch every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday. So come on, enjoying the fun. So that's basically it. Those are my first impressions of Sekiro and Borderlands 3. Yeah, I'm just having a real fun time video gaming, both on YouTube and Twitch these days, and there's so many good games coming out, man, all the time, that are just really pushing the limit of what this industry can do. And I like to focus on the ones that really have integrity, like those two games, not Apex Legends, not Anthem, not these, like, you know, obvious trying, you know, cash grabs. Regardless of the quality of the game, the goal there is to make a lot of money. I prefer to put my interests in stuff like Sekiro, which doesn't have any DLC loot, day one DLC, loot boxes, all that bullshit. It's just a good $60 mega quality game. So I'm just really enjoying playing these both on, again, YouTube and Twitch, and I am glad that you're there to watch and play along with me. So thank you so much for watching this Sub Saturdays, ladies and gents. I'll see you guys next week, tomorrow for a stream, and videos all over the place. Bye-bye.